Hi everybody, my name is Vartanian. I'm the Regional Director of the Armenian Assembly, and I'm having such a wonderful couple of days here because I'm here with former interns from 2007, TALAR HOVNANIAN, BERBERIAN, and NELLI, SHUSHI, MARTIROSYAN. So we're going to talk with them a little bit, and I want you to get to know them and see how wonderful they are. Okay, so welcome back to Armenia, TALAR and Mark.
Thank you.
NELLI, SHUSHI, I know that you live here now, so just great to see you all. And for those of us, or those of you who are just listening and watching and learning about or meeting TALAR, Mark, and SHUSHI for the first time, I'd like you to know that in 2007, they were interns in the Armenian Assembly of America Summer Internship Program. None of them knew each other. TALAR and Mark met. This is the story I like to tell. TALAR and Mark met on the program. They fell in love. They dated for a while in America, and several years later, they got married. They've come back to Armenia several times, and yesterday, with 30 of their wonderful closest family and friends from all over the world, they baptized their daughter, Datev. SHUSHI, some of you might know her as NELLI, met Mark and TALAR on the program as well. SHUSHI's life changed, in my opinion, after this program because she moved to Armenia and she's been living here and she's been doing amazing work for the people of Armenia since before she arrived and after she arrived. So we'll talk with each of them to get a little taste of who they are and what they are, and I think you're going to enjoy meeting them as well. Okay, so we'll start with TALAR on my left. TALAR-Jan, and actually for all of you, this question applies. You came to Armenia. Some of you had been to Armenia before, some of you had not been to Armenia before, but I think the program, living here as someone in Armenia does, changes your life, changes your perspective on how life really is in Armenia, because it's not all doing touristy things. It's living, it's working, it's doing touristy things, it's going shopping and doing your laundry and, you know, ironing your clothes or whatever else you need to do.
Hanging the laundry from the windows.
That's right. For those of you who don't know, if you have to do laundry, sometimes you have to hang it outside the window so everybody sees your clean laundry in this case. So TALAR, tell me about how your perspective on Armenia changed, what you discovered living in Armenia for those 2 months that you maybe didn't know before.
I think more than anything, I experienced the same kind of challenges we have in America. You know, something doesn't work out, someone forgets to meet you somewhere, or you have a mouse in your house or something. But here, those little mundane problems, for some reason, you're gonna have problems anywhere you are, but here it just seems like it's more worth it. I don't know how to explain. Like, why are we going through troubles in a foreign country when we can have them here? Like, they are everywhere. I know that might sound strange, but it's like those things just roll off your back here for some reason. Those little things just don't seem to matter.
Mark, what about you?
For me, it's how much you can make an impact and a connection, and just how much a conversation with someone can change them, even if you don't really speak the same language. Smile's the same thing in every language, so just how you smile to someone and have a little connection, and you can just learn so much about the people here and how things are going, and it's just so rewarding.
Because I was born and raised in Armenia. I was 17 when my parents took me to the US. I knew the culture here in Armenia. And was it 8 years? I think it was 8 years that I had not been to Armenia after I moved to the US. So during 8 years, during those 8 years, I would hear that these things are happening in Armenia, that things are happening in Armenia. So me being back, and especially me being an intern in the education ministry, it just helped me to reconnect to the country. I think that's number one thing that I would say, just reconnect, physically reconnect.
Yeah. Okay, and when did you move back to Armenia?
Around 3 years ago.
Okay.
This June will be 3 years.
Okay.
So in a few days.
Okay. Wow. So Congratulations. Happy anniversary on that.
Thank you.
Okay. So can you guys tell me a little bit about perhaps how living here, participating in the program changed you? I can think of one obvious reason here.
Yeah, that's probably the most significant one. But not only do we meet each other, we also met, other lifelong friends.
Yes.
We still get together with the interns we met, not only through Armenian Assembly, but other folks who were here in the summer interning through various programs. And it's amazing to see how this country brings together people from other Armenian communities throughout America, throughout the world, really.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
What about you, Mark?
Yeah, so I think obviously, meeting and marrying my wife, TALAR, was the biggest change, but also career-wise, it was a very important impact for me because I interned with the Armenian the APLAC, Armenian Economic Policy and Legal Advice Center, which was an intersection of economics and law, and I'm currently doing economic consulting, which is the intersection of economics and law in the litigation system. And so that kind of career path has really taken me off, and I think a lot of the first-hand experiences I got as an intern had kind of prompted this whole kind of ball rolling down this whole field.
Fantastic. Nelly John, you're writing a dissertation now, am I correct?
Yes, dissertation proposal right now.
Okay. You got your major in, you majored in education.
Yes.
And what is your dissertation about?
It's on the use of student-centered methodologies in Armenia. And I want to say this. In 2007, I was interested in the field of education in Armenia. In 2007, that's 12 years ago. And my first step in the field of education was my internship with the assembly. Yes. So I came to the Ministry of Education and Science and did my internship. And that was a huge and amazing experience for me as my first step. I'm someone who doesn't like just to read about, let's say, the ministry. I want to go there, I want to physically be there, meet people, experience, feel, know. So that was a huge experience for me to intern in the ministry and learn so much.
Yeah. Some of you might not know this about Nelly if you don't know her, but she also implemented changes. They might seem like small changes, but these were important because all of our interns over the years, whoever has come here, the goal for them is not only to gain experience, international work experience, but also to share experiences. So I know that Nelly, working at the Ministry of Education, was able to change the mindsets of some people and to get people thinking in a different way. And so that was a really important. I remember some of those steps that you talked about. That was impressive.
From over 10 years ago, but I remember Nelly's passionate presentation about soap dispensers in the schools and how passionate she was about something like that.
Yeah.
And there's just so much passion and how much change she was able to do. I still remember from her presentation that.
Yeah, those were huge things, and now you will see more and more people carrying around those little, those little dispensers of, what do they call them? Like the soap to clean your hands. People will do that, and they are more careful. Not everyone yet, but there's a big change, and so these kinds of things, when interns come and talk about with their coworkers, talk about different ideas and concepts, that makes a difference. So thank you all. TALAR, what about your internship?
I worked for a research institution, nonprofit, with HOVNANIAN, which at the time was a member of parliament. We wrote a paper about, I really don't remember now.
12 years is a long time.
But more than anything, I think, we were able to see the inner workings of Parliament, going with him and other members of his party, really, engaging with them, talking with them about their experience, about how they established themselves. And that was really it made you feel like with the right amount of determination, putting in the work, you could too. He was an expat. He moved here and made a huge difference on this country, and you sort of were inspired that obviously it takes a serious amount of commitment, but maybe you could do that one day and, you know, leave your mark as well. So that was an amazing internship. And I must say, you know, interviewing for jobs after college, after that internship, nobody wants to talk about, you know, you intern with something in the States. They want to talk about your international experience.
Yeah,
that's
it's
for
really
sure.
important,
yeah,
isn't
it
it?
takes up 75% of the interview every time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
No
thank you
joke.
for sharing that. Mark and Shushi, would you add anything to that?
I think that also makes sense, and not only for jobs, but also graduate school. I think a lot of the graduate school applications I did was, you know, drawing on my experience at APLAC and Assembly. I know RP wrote me a letter of recommendation, and just getting that type of, you know, real work. This isn't you just come and party in Armenia for 10 weeks. You're actually doing stuff and gaining skills, and I think that is just so important, not only for jobs, but also graduate school.
Same thing with me. My international experience has helped me a lot to get into my graduate school.
That's
I just
fantastic.
know it for a fact.
Excellent. And would you have any words of advice for people considering the program to come out here, how to prepare, what to expect? And I know 12 years is a long time, but some things change and some things don't change. So any words of advice?
To be honest, RP and the assembly were extremely helpful. Anything you would ever have to, I'm not just saying this. I mean, anything you would worry about, they take care of. If there's anything that's, you know, you get sick or any, you know, they have the right contacts. And other than that, this country is so welcoming. People are truly concerned with your well-being, even if it's unwelcome advice. It comes from a good place, and there's really nothing to worry about in my mind.
I would say dream big, and don't be afraid to ask for anything as ridiculous as it is. Most of the time I spent was doing this economics-based internship, but I also saw a bunch of shepherds on the field trips we were going on and touring, and I told RP, I was like, hey, it would be cool if I could spend a weekend living with one of the shepherds' families. And she was like, I can set that up for you. And sure enough, I got to spend an amazing weekend living with the shepherds way out in the countryside and making cheese with them, and it was just a phenomenal experience. So my advice would be, don't be afraid to ask for things, even if they may sound ridiculous.
Okay.
Interesting. My number one advice would be to not have any expectations. That's extremely important. I do know youth, young people, even not just only young people. They come to Armenia with specific expectations.
Yeah.
But then they don't meet those expectations, or people or whoever, whatever. The expectations are not met,
Yeah.
and then they get disappointed. Okay? So please come to Armenia without any expectations. That's my number one advice.
That's, I think, really good advice. You know, sometimes I tell people when they come here for the first time that when they're walking around the city, you have to look down sometimes so you don't, you know, step off a curb. But you should also look up and look around you, because around every corner there could be something, a surprise.
Yes.
And a fantastic surprise. And if you're not paying attention, you'll miss that surprise. So I think that was really good advice, Nelly-chan. Okay, so you guys are here. You've been coming back and forth you've come back, let me see, for your honeymoon, part of your honeymoon in 2000.
Family vacation.
Family, yeah.
And now the good
And then now the good one. Okay, so you're already tying Datev, not just by her name, but also by being baptized here with Armenia. That's so wonderful. I love that. And Nelly, who really changed her name to Shushi, so we call her Shushi also.
That's my middle name in my
Yeah.
American
But we call her that.
passport.
So
I think
what,
RP likes calling me that.
I do. I think it's beautiful. Nelly
You'll
is.
always be Nelly.
Yes,
Nelly-
yes, I agree.
Well,
I'm
I
Nelly.
do- I
My
do
daughter
call
is
you
Shushi now. That there is
Right.
Shushi in the family. I'm Nelly.
But well, and I do call you Nelly because that's how I met you. But I know that Shushi is what you love, because she's one of the most patriotic people you will ever meet. And if you come to Armenia, I hope that you have the opportunity to meet her. We'll have a separate interview to talk about the work that Nelly does for that Shushi does for the people of Armenia. And so you'll keep an eye out for that, because it's amazing work, and you can become part of that as well. Is there any? I don't want to keep this. I can talk for hours with you all.
I always want
But
to
if
add
there's
to the
anything
work
that you
Nelly
like
does.
to?
I mean, I think what's really great with the assembly is we got to know Nelly, her passion here, and then hearing about the charity and the work that she's doing, you just, when you know the person and have the connection, you just feel so great to hear about it, and it's just so warming to know and see all the updates, and to actually know the person as a friend and see what they're doing. It's so great, and that's how it is really for all the interns, and just we keep in touch with them and seeing how successful they're doing and changing the world, whether it's in New York or California or all over, and it's just so great to have that personal connection.
It is wonderful. I see what a strong friendship bond you have all maintained, and that's really great. And just in case you didn't get it, Mark and TALAR do support Nelly's organization because they believe in the organization and they believe in her, and they know it. So once you learn about the organization, I think you might understand exactly why and want to join that great effort. Anything else to add?
Well, I just want to say that thanks to the internship, I did not only meet good friends, but also good donors. Mark and TALAR have become our yearly major donors for the nonprofit that I lead, and they help me and they help the Artsakhi people have better schools. So every year the
education again.
Yes, we build or rebuild a school in Artsakh, specifically in the Kashatagh region of Artsakh, thanks to people like them. Because with only my passion, my time, my dedication, there is no way I'm going to be able to rebuild or build a school.
Right.
It needs to be financed, and TALAR and Mark have become one of our major donors for our school rebuilding programs in Kashatagh.
But the
Thank you guys, thank you.
Of course, thank you. But the financing doesn't work as much or as hard without someone as like Nelly, who's so passionate, who will take $1 and turn it into $10 of goodness.
Thank you.
Oh, that's the best praise.
Yeah.
That's the best praise. Yesterday was a wonderful day because I got to participate in your very happy event. But I also got to see you all again. I got to see Nelly again, and I got to see other former interns and meet your families, and what a wonderful day. I was getting goosebumps yesterday, and I'm getting goosebumps again right now because you three are three of my favorite people that I've met over the years, and the most impressive people that I've gotten a chance to know. So thank you all.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's been my pleasure, and I hope we all get to keep in touch and continue to keep in touch, and I look forward to future coffees or encounters and celebrations. Yes. Okay, so long. Arayjum, I think.